Hi, welcome to AFTV. I've got Jason with me. A 1-0 win to the Arsenal against Crystal Palace at the Emirates. Jason, I think you sit in kind of a sensible space of, do we get carried away? Are we happy? Are we positive? Are we getting too carried away or not? Where are you after a performance like that? Is there an air of caution that can this be sustainable winning games like this, or is it like, listen, you're winning games as football should be won?
Look, I think you win the game that's in front of you, and I think that's where it becomes a bit difficult. And I think you listen to Slot the other day talking about the tactical setup that Liverpool were facing and how difficult that sort of is. And we saw that with Palace today. They defended with a back five, a midfield four in front of them that didn't leave the centre of the pitch. They make it very, very, very hard to play through you. When you play with a back five, you're covering all the wide spaces, so you can't really get Trossard or Saka on the ball. Mm-hmm. Then you've got your three defenders at the back. You've got you've got David Raya. You've got almost an overload at the back where you don't want it, and you just need players to be a little bit braver. Someone to step into midfield, Timber or Calafiori to take a risk and kind of step in. And it probably took us about half an hour really to kind of get into a situation where we could play Eze in. I think we played Eze in. He managed to get on the half turn, beat a couple of players.
Did he play well today for you or not?
I am not sure he's a number 10 in this system.
Interesting.
I'm not sure that is the role long term that that when everybody's fit. I wonder if he's a player coming in off the left, combining with a centre forward, combining with a midfielder, and then coming in and getting involved.
Do you think Arteta feels that way as well then, or not?
I think probably. I think what Arteta's done is he's probably looking at different ways to get him into the system. Yeah. He's looking at him playing in that 10 role. He's looked at him at Port Vale away and in a couple other games in the 8 role in the Newcastle game, for example. So those games where maybe you want or need two players in the middle of the park that can do that. I think longer term he probably will play a little bit more on the left hand side, coming in, combining. I think with Calafiori, the way that Calafiori plays. Mm-hmm. I think if you think back to the exciting moments, and I'm not talking, I'll take the goal out of it, fair, because that was a great goal. Yeah. The exciting moments that we've seen from Eze have been in those spaces where he's dropped the shoulder, beat someone, gone in, played off the centre forward, picked the ball up, and then started driving at people. I think it's really difficult in those sorts of games today. And he gave the ball away a couple of times, but you need that. A player in that, it's risk and reward. It's risk and reward. So I'm not criticising him for that in any way, shape or form. And I think there's a lot of pressure on him. The level, the standards, when you come to a club like Arsenal, and then like I said, we've spoken about the squad depth. You have a few bad games at Palace, and you're probably not out. You're not out the side. But if you have Lewis Kelly comes in midweek as a blinder, and everyone's going, he should be playing on Sunday. He should be playing. Calafiori comes in today as a great. He should be playing. Trossard has a game. He should be playing. Everyone should be playing.
It's not enough spots.
No, exactly. And in some respects, that's where games like Wednesday then, because that Wednesday's your game to kind of keep some of those players a little bit happier, get some of those players some minutes. Tough game against Brighton, but fundamentally all we can do is win the game that's in front of us, and what we're seeing is the sides around us that are competing for us in the league are not winning those games that are in front of them, and we are. Other teams have scored as many goals, if not more goals than we have, but no one concedes as few as we do, and at the end of the season, that's where that's where it kind of comes in. You want to score loads of goals from open play. You want to score loads of goals from set pieces. But we score goals from open play. But I was saying to someone sat next to me, like, I remember when Stoke used that when they had Rory Delap, and teams would rather put the ball out for a corner and defend a corner than they would defend a Stoke and a Rory Delap set piece. And you can kind of see the panic and the pandemonium when the ball goes anywhere near the byline, and the fans are and the players start and that is before the ball's even gone out. So and the other thing about Arteta today, he's using the squad really well. I think last season we probably didn't see many games where we used all 5 subs. Actually 5 subs, he's using his 5 subs quite well, quite often. And when he brings them in, there's no drop-off. You're not seeing it. We saw something a bit different today. He also went with a back 5 for the last few minutes. So we've got people talk about him not being flexible and adaptable. He is. He plays he plays the game in front of him, and I think we're better this season at playing the game in front of us. And I therefore think at the end of the season, that's where it will really tell. Because I think you'll look back over those games and go, yeah, he played those games, he played those moments. Because over the next couple of weeks, Liverpool got Aston Villa next week. It's a tough game. Obviously, we've got Spurs in a couple of weeks. But there are some big games coming up between those sides that are kind of just below us. And I think Lee Judge has made the point. If we go and win our next 2 games, the least that can happen is a 6-point gap from the teams that you would think that we would be worried about. You're possibly looking at 8, maybe 10. And if you go back 4 weeks ago, everyone was talking about an 8-point swing the other direction. If we lose to Newcastle and this happens to Liverpool and we're going to be 8 points behind and the league's gone, and now we're 7 points in front of them. So you look at this swing, and there's still going to be ups and downs. There's still going to be things that are going to happen. We could quite easily lose a player for a prolonged period of time. But you look at it now and go, Havertz has to come back into this side and take some pressure off Gyökeres. Ødegaard comes back into this side. We ease Madueke back into this side. It's positive. How could you? I do not understand how fans cannot be positive. We have to learn as fans to enjoy the journey, and the destination, it becomes even sweeter.